Hey, Mario Karters and Frenzy fans, welcome to our channel.
Today we have a very special episode where we have a guest speaker. It's the first time we've ever had a guest speaker before.
It'll be awesome.
And so we'll go ahead and introduce him. This is Alex. Welcome, Alex, to the channel.
Hey everyone, yeah, thank you for reaching out and inviting me. I'm really grateful. I really enjoy your content, so glad I can be here and be a part of it.
Yeah, thanks so much for making time to be on the channel today. So we're excited because Alex is he's the mastermind behind the ACR, or the All Cup ranking top 1,000 and top 100 and even top 10 cutoff scores.
He's basically brilliant.
And so he starts out at pretty much at the beginning of the tour, and he can, based on, well, I'll let him tell. But he helps everyone in the Reddit community, the Mario Kart community, figure out what the cutoff score is to aim for, to be able to try and get the All Cup ranking badge. So let me just go into a little bit of history as to how Alex and I met and how we're here today. So back in the Bowser versus Donkey Kong tour, I saw that the top ACR badge was going to be Bowser, and Bowser is my most favorite character, right? Yeah. And so I was like, man, it'd be really cool to get a Bowser badge. And then I was looking at my loadouts for the tour, and I was like, oh my gosh, it would be really cool to get the top 100 badge, but I have no idea if my loadout is going to be able to get me close. So I reached out to Alex, and I was like, hey, I know you do this for top 1,000, but what do you think about helping me out for top 100? And so with his help and with a lot of help of people in the community, I was so close. I got placed 107. I was like 10,000, 11,000 points short of top 100, but it was cool because I think the whole experience it was more of a learning experience. If it weren't for the tour and me trying to get top 100, that was really kind of the very beginning of this ACR calculator that we'll go into. So anyway, it's been a few tours now, and Alex has refined his method, and the calculator is getting refined. And so yeah, we just kind of wanted to have Alex on, and for those that aren't aware, he's always doing posts on Reddit every week for the top 1,100. So we'll have a link for his post for the Paris tour top 1,100 in the description of the video. You may Absolutely. Have gotten to this video from Reddit, and so if you didn't get to this video from Reddit, go ahead and click on it, and you'll be able to get to his article. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and turn the time over to Alex to just kind of give us a little bit of history or feedback, explain to us a little bit about how the predictions work.
Yeah, thanks for that. Yeah, before I start, I will just say that I remember being at home on the weekend that you messaged through and asked whether it was possible to do top 100, and I was like, hell no, no chance. And then I find it hilarious that only, what's that, 3 tours ago? Yeah, it just goes to show how, these things have been refined and getting better at doing these projections, and the tools are becoming more useful. So yeah, when you first reached out, I thought there was no chance, but hey, look where we are. I'm now doing top 10. So yeah, thanks for your you pushing me along as well on that.
Yeah, no, it's been great. It's been fun.
I remember when you emailed him too, he's like, he says I can't do it. Should I try anyways? I'm like, yeah, you should. Like, it was so
close. Nice. Yeah. So, I mean, I decided around about Christmas time that I thought that I might have a try at top 1,000, and it was like the Rosalina tour maybe. And then we had a couple of more tours at the start of the year. So I think we started off with a Cat tour, then a Berlin tour. And it was around about that time I was struggling to try and understand what the cut-off was going to be for top 1,000. And that's kind of what sort of started all of this in the first place. So I kind of got to halfway through the Peach tour, and my scores were pretty good. My loadouts were great. I had invested in Wedding Peach quite a lot, and she was a featured driver that tour. And yeah, that's when I started collating the data that I use today. And yeah, I'll give you a bit of background really. So every day the top rankings are updated, and I, bit of manual data entry with my coffee in the morning when that gets published. And yeah, I chart the daily increases of top 1000, and yeah, since you and I started speaking, top 100, and then most recently top 10, because a couple of people in the community, I think, regular top 100 players, some of the elite races are quite close to top 10. So yeah, we kind of branched out, but yeah, I look at the daily increases, and what the screen that we're seeing here, you've got a rainbow array of data here, and so this is for this tour really. I've run the data this morning, and I'll talk you through what the projections are going to be for the Paris tour. But yeah, so essentially what we're looking at here are the figures, what the final cutoff will be if the rest of the tour scoring mirrors the tours that are listed before us. So for example, if we mirror the wedding tour scoring, the most recent tour, we're going to finish off around about 984. Alternatively, if we follow the Sydney tour, huge drop off to about 965. And what I try to do when I make these projections is, have like floors and ceilings where I say, best case scenario for the community, in terms of the lowest score, is going to follow what happened in the Sydney tour, and finish off around about 965. And then hovering over us like a guillotine is always the Ninja tour, which was just ridiculously high scoring because of Gold King Bomb primarily. Yep. And that was really high scoring. So in my most recent post, I said I kind of disregarded some of the previous tours, and I've kind of separated those out above. And you can see there from the numbers, Snow Tour, Mario Tour, Yoshi Tour, we're talking about in the 940s. And we've had so many more tickets in the game since then, just via the fact that everybody's loadouts continually get better and stuff. The scores will always increase. So, whilst the final 7 days of the tour, for those ones, give that cut off. I said previously, I kind of don't take those into account anymore. I wanted to include them here so you can kind of see the big difference. I think this is the King Bomb effect, really. Since he came out and we had another coin box driver with such great coverage, it's really kind of pushed the boat for top 1000. But yeah, so my cutoff predictions or projections for Paris, you can see that the lowest there is Sydney. That was a city tour, so there's every chance it could come in at that lower figure. You look at the figures for the Ninja tour, that was a high scoring tour because we had a coin box drop mid tour. Bowser tour was really high because Airship Fortress was a featured track, it wasn't very paywalled. Right. Trick tour, loads of easily non-stop combo tracks with high action count, so that was quite highly inflated. And then the wedding tour, last tour, again, it wasn't very highly paywalled, was it? The new track was fairly generous, I guess. So yeah, we've had quite a lot of friendly tours recently for scoring. Probably the Sydney tour is the tour that most reflects this tour being a city tour, which people don't really like to invest tickets in. And yeah, so there's every chance it could come out on that low figure, that sort of the floor, the 965. But, I think you have to prepare for the worst and, factoring in people's ticket increases over time and stuff like that. Yeah. Maybe it will come in at that higher number. So yeah, that's how we kind of come to the lower floor and the higher ceiling for what top 1000 would look at. Does that all make sense?
Yeah,
absolutely.
All right,
so nice
slide here.
And then yeah, so I used the top 1000 score then to try and work out where we're going to fall with top 100 and top and most recently top 10. So this complicated looking spreadsheet is straightforward, I promise. So the columns B, C, D, the yellow ones, they are what the daily increases have been this tour this week. So you've got day 1, day 2, so on and so forth, and that's basically what the date. This is my morning coffee Daniel data entry that I do.
Yeah. So
I had those there, and then you can see column E and F. That's all about top 100. So here I'm asking, what is the difference between the 1000th player and the 100th player? And we can equate that into a percentage in the column to the right. So first day, huge gap between the 1000th player and the 100th player, 29%, nearly 30%. Today, that's around about 25%. You can see there 24.83% in column F. And pretty much it's been steady since day 2. Not really much variance in that number. So, looking at previous tours, it does increase in the second week, but it doesn't go up a huge amount. So, you know, hopefully you can see at the bottom there, I've got the floor 24%, and that's basically if it kind of stays around about as it's been performing. You know, there are instances where it does drop some, you know, a small percent. So if we say that the gap between the 100th player and the 1000th player is going to be about 24% of total scoring, that's kind of like the low end. And then, as I say, you know, last couple of tours I've been doing it, I haven't got a huge amount of data for top 100. You know, I've only really been charting it since you and I have been working together. And yeah, you know, it might go up about 3%. So I think the margin or the areas that we're looking for is around about 24% to 27% of total scoring. That is the gap between, you know, the 1000th player in the game and the 100th player.
Okay.
So you know, this is just, there's not really much algorithm or anything like that. It's, you know, I can play around each day with where roughly as each day goes by, the windows narrow slightly on the score. You know, you can see today we're at 966 for our floor and 986 for our ceiling for top 1000, and that narrows every day as we get, you know, more and more data and get closer to the end, which is why, you know, I've been able to get to a point really where the final day projection is pretty much on the money. And, you know, I'm normally about 1 to 2% out on the mid tour. So yeah, you can see there that I'm thinking that we might just come under 1.2 million if we follow the floor. You know, if we follow that Sydney tour path and not much changes between the 1000th player and the 100th player before the end, we could come out just under 1.2 million, which would be a huge drop off. You know, in previous top 100s over the last sort of 4 or 5 tours. And then, yeah, worst case scenario, what happens if we kind of go, you know, nearly 986 with that 27% gap between the 1000th player and 100th player? Then you're probably looking at about 1.25 million. So, you know, I think it's quite good that we can have a range of about 50,000 scoring. It gives people a ballpark to work for. And, you know, people should know at this point with their loadouts and stuff, if they invest, if they use your tool and whatnot, what they can achieve.
Right. And so when you come out with your prediction on Reddit, you usually come out with those like the first Monday of the tour, right?
Yeah.
You wait till all the courses are unlocked for the whole player base.
Yes, that's right.
But then you come back to that same post and update it throughout the tour, right? Like as the days progress.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of, I don't make a sort of point of it. You know, if people message and reach out, sometimes, you know, players that are trying to get their first badge, you know, they might be a bit anxious to see whether it's around about the same region that I was hoping before. And as I say, I just update it each day. It doesn't take me very long to just kind of say, yeah, we're on path, or, you know, not much has changed, or, well, actually, there's been a big change. I think the only time there's ever really been a big change from the middle of the tour to the end of the tour was at Ninja Tour because of King Bob dropping and everyone just going crazy.
Yeah. And then usually on like the second to last day of the tour, you'll make a new post, right? Where you're like, okay, here's how things have been shaken out, and it looks like this is actually going to be the cutoff number, right, for each.
Yeah. So last day of the tour, sort of last 24 hours, I'll make a post as early as I can in the morning after the cutoff, about, you know, what you can expect to have to grind in the last day, or, you know, whether you're safe and stuff like that. So I mean, the blue columns here are basically top 10, and, you know, I do the same thing for top 10 as I do for top 100. I basically compare the 100th player to the 10th player. I mean, this has got huge variance because we're talking about such a finite number of people. You know, you can see here that final column H, you know, first day 23%, 16%, 21, 17, you know, up and down every day. I mean, to be fair, it does actually settle down a bit and become a bit more sort of predictable as the tour continues. But yeah, you know, you're talking about a small number of people, so there's always going to be a greater variance, and that's why I've kind of put like that sort of 18 to 21%, sort of that kind of area for this tour. But yeah, you're right. You know, last day of the tour is a good time to make that final projection, give everyone an opportunity to do the extra grinding they need to do. So yeah.
Cool. All right. So if we move on to the next one, is that cool?
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, it's death by numbers, but work with me. So the question I'm asking here, is this a good tour to go for top 100 if you're kind of on the fringes? So, this is basically the question that you were asking me, 3-4 tours ago with Bowser. Now there's a funny kind of pink color I've used here, and that's basically to highlight the city tours. And I commented on this on my posts last week when I was projecting the final cutoff for the last tour. And it's funny how basically the Paris tour has just kind of snuck in pretty much whereabouts I probably thought it would do. You can see there. So just to give you an indication of what you're looking at here. So column G, right, is the difference between the 1,000th player and the 100th player for the last 20 tours. And I've sorted it in order of the closest. So the closest that the 100th player has ever been to the top 1,000th player was the Mario and Luigi tour. Incidentally, I have absolutely no idea why that is the case. I look at that tour and I can't really pick out anything that's of note to explain that. But, you can see there the gap is 23%. Funnily enough, one of the hardest ever tours to go for top 100 was the Bowser tour. Looking down the bottom there, 31%. That basically is showing there's a massive gap between the 100th player and the 1,000th player. There's a seismic gap which can be explained by the really high loadouts that big spenders have in this game. So yeah, funny that you tried to go for it on probably one of the hardest tours to go for it, but then you also kind of have to work around the loadouts you've got. So
right.
But yeah, city tours, no one really likes to spend tickets on them for obvious reasons. They never come back. I have no idea why Nintendo spend all their time investing in these tours and these tracks, and then they disappear for an age. But hey, that's what they do. So yeah, the Paris tour, it's one of the more friendly tours to break into top 100 if you're on the fringes. But again, you're going to be pretty loadout specific. There's some strange top shelf items on this that maybe a lot of people haven't invested in. I think the Black Birdo drive is one of those, for example. But yeah, it's more favourable. But then I guess the quandary is that it doesn't have an atypical loadout, because a lot of the drivers are sort of random drivers that I guess sensible investors, in quote unquote, probably haven't really invested in.
Yeah. Yeah, and I know for next week's ranked, there's a particular course that will go unnamed that I don't have like anything top shelf.
Oh really?
Except for like one driver. Yeah. And so like I guess this top 100 score, like it looks like it's low. It looks like it's lower. Thing is, we're all in the same boat, right?
Yeah. Yes, that's
like
the thing. Yeah.
Like with this new Paris tour, everyone wants to have top shelf stuff, but it's like on the other flip side of the coin, it's a Paris tour. So there's these new city tracks that aren't going to come back. So it's almost like, well, I don't want to have like too many things get buffed with and so it turns out next week, I just don't have a kart or a glider for the Paris. It's like the 3RT, whatever. And so I think that's probably not an uncommon situation for a lot of players. And so that's why this number is going to be lower, because the loadouts are just more difficult to try and get, A, top shelf for everything, and then B, high levels of top shelf for everything.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. The reason that the figure's going to be lower isn't because the player base is taking 2 weeks off and he's grinding any less. People that play for top 100 are grinding and playing the game just the same amount. Action counts will probably largely be the same. We're going to talk about that a little bit when we look at yours and mine projection tools. But yeah, action counts will be the same. It's just that everybody's stuff isn't quite as good unless you are that elite of the elite, which actually segues quite nicely into the next slide, which shows the kind of top 10 range.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, top 10 is, you got to spend some big money to obviously get in top 10s. It's no secret. And again, it's funny how that you can see from the pink there, the Paris tour fits in quite nicely with a lot of the other city tours. I mean, for some reason, the LA tour, that's the hardest ever tour to penetrate top 10. I don't really know why. 25.61% gap between the 1,000th player, between the 10th player and the 100th player. But as probably no one realised it, but last tour was actually one of the easiest tours to ever break into the top 10. Again, operating it on a sort of a bit of a scale here, because everyone's loadout was pretty good last tour. But yeah, Paris tour sits kind of in the middle. You're not really. It's different to the top 100, where it's a favourable tour to get in. I'd probably say, you can see from here, it's no more favourable than it is unfavourable to get in. It's still equally as hard to get into top 10. Basically, if you're a fringe top 10 player, this isn't really the tour to make the run at it and blow all your ticket loads up. I think there's probably more favourable tours to do it. But yeah, as I say, everyone's loadout is going to be struggling this tour.
Yeah, cool. All right, well, let's go ahead and hop over into the calculators. So this is your version of the Mario Kart ACR calculator. Normally, so when you download, we have a link for this in the description of this video as well. And when you download it, it'll be pretty much blank. So like the cup names and the courses, they're not there. But it looks like, Alex, you filled out your driver, kart, and glider, all the level and base points. So you've done that for all 12 tours, which is 36 courses. So you can see down here, your average, you're right at a level 5 for drivers, 4.25 for karts, 4.28 for gliders, so on and so forth, right? And then it looks like you've been putting in your actions, but then the bonus points you haven't been recording. So I think, how is it that you came up with this value here?
Yeah, no, sensible question. And yeah, I've definitely found this tool very useful to help me. I mean, I feel like I'm pretty much a regular top 1,000, and I do have the sort of loadouts to go for it. I guess what for me the most valuable part of the tool as a regular player is kind of gauging how much I'm going to have to grind, which we'll kind of get to on the next screen in a second. But yeah, I've added all of my loadouts. I've not really had a chance to grind this week. I've been in a bit of a dogfighting rank, so that's kind of been taking my most of my attention. This is basically just the first run through of each track where I finished first. I've captured that in there, so this is all my high scores. But yeah, not really much grinding done yet. So averaging about 115 actions. Yeah, as I said, I wasn't a very good student with my bonus point recording. I went back and just used the figure that I had from last tour, which is probably whereabouts I'll end up falling this tour if I put the effort in and grind. So yeah, you can see far right, bottom right hand corner, that lovely bright neon 856 is where I'm at. Today's the first day I've actually found myself in the top 1,000. I didn't use my quick ticket today at this tour, so okay. I only finished the tour yesterday. So yeah, I'm just crept in, and I'm about 9:10 this morning, which is good. So yeah,
cool,
very nice.
So then over here, the ACR summary. So it looks like you've put in the 986 for top 1,000.
Yep, that's right.
And so based on the loadout that you have and the actual average bonus points per action, which is kind of a carryover from last tour, so the accuracy of that, may or may not be where you want it, but looks like the calculator is saying you need 145 actions. Your projected score is 862, which is kind of like right where you're at, right? 856.
Yeah, that's pretty much on the money.
Yeah. So, yeah, looks like obviously, if you were to stop right now, you wouldn't make the top 1,000. And so you're definitely gonna have to do some grinding and probably just bring that action count up. If you're not gonna, put tickets into your level or points on cap tickets into the base points for your drivers, karts, and gliders, really what you want to focus in on is the actions.
And you said you've only played each race like once, right? Or you got first place runs, and that's what you recorded?
Exactly, yeah.
So that average will go up a bunch once you play some more.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. I think my read into this is that I've either got a lot of frenzies to find in the next 7 days if I keep my stuff pretty much the level as it is. Or alternatively, I've got to spend some tickets. So, I think I'm probably going to finally invest into Vacation Peach. I've had her at level 1 for about an eternity, and
really?
a stash of tickets. But
wow,
if I just need one more ticket to appear in the shop, I can get up to 5 double uncapped. So, yeah, that might change things a little bit.
She's a spotlight in the pipe next week.
Yeah, or I could just put on the pipe. Although I drained the Yoshi top.
Oh.
You coerced me
Yeah.
into hoping that I could pull the Yoshi type when we were messaging this weekend. So yeah, maybe that won't be the path I'll take. But yeah,
My fault. I'll
So-
buy you a couple banners so you can pull for Vacation Beach.
yeah. Well, I somehow lucked into Black Yoshi on the free pipe this morning. So
That's
he's
right,
on-
I saw
he's
that.
on banner next week. So I've been trying to avoid banners where as much as possible. But yeah, I think that's definitely going to be an investment I'll make. So yeah, I can maybe get her up to 5. So yeah, I've got some tickets to spend. I've got some grinding to do. I definitely think, having completed your wonderful tool for the last couple of tours, this has kind of shown me out that my loadouts are quite poor compared to some of the last couple of tours, really, and there's a bit more work I need to do or tickets to spend. But which again just goes back to what we were saying the last couple of minutes.
Yeah, but like I said too, everyone's in the same boat, so that's why the projection scores are so much lower. And I think you'll be fine.
Yeah. The other thing to
but-
think about is, I'm at 862 now or whatever I am, and we're talking about what the floor and the ceiling for this tour is, and there's every chance it does follow the Sydney path where people don't really spend their tickets that much, and it could come in at 9.6, in which case I've only got to find 100, which a lot easier to find than 120.
Yeah. So it's interesting to see how you use the tool. I'm gonna go ahead and hop over to here we go, to mine. So the way I do it is I'll focus on just like 2 or 3 races per day, and as I get like that double frenzy run or whatever, like the high score, I keep track from pretty much the past year, my high scores from each race. So if I've beaten like a previous one, it's like, oh, okay, like this run was actually a pretty good one, then I'll go ahead and log it in the ACR tool. So you can see here, I've filled out everything for the cups and the courses and my driver, kart, and glider levels and base points. But then over here, I've only put in the actions and bonus points for the races that I know I'm pretty much not going to go back and race more. So here I can see which ones I need to focus on. So when you come down here, you can see that my action count is 138.5 average. And then bonus points per action is 63.77. So yours was 62.2, right? So that might even be on the conservative side for you. But you can see here that I've only got 485,000. I see the numbers and then they all get jumbled up in my head and come out as like diarrhea. Anyway, so when we come over here to the summary, so the thing is my actions are probably going to stay around like the 138, 139, 140-ish maybe. It might dip down to like 137, and there's going to be a little bit of variance here with the bonus points per action. But so let's see here. We were saying
986, right?
986.
Yep.
Okay, so for you 986. Oh, look at that. Okay, so it says I need 135 actions and I'm averaging 138. So it's projecting a score of 1,033,000. So just as long as I keep on, grinding and, playing the other courses, like I have the ones that I've recorded, looks like I should do okay. So I think I've gone through about half the tour right now.
What's your action count for top 100? I'm curious to see, because I don't think you're going to be a million miles away.
Oh, okay. So what do we put in here? Sorry, can you help me with that number?
Yeah, it's a good question. You have to switch back to the image. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Okay. So if we come back here, is it that 1,250,000 or?
If you
yes, it is. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, 1,252.
I'm seeing though that's the top 10 score. It's 1, 2.
Oh,
but that's
no,
for
so,
like today. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, that's today. Yeah.
Okay.
So you can see at the bottom 1, 2, 5, 2.
Okay, so 1, 2, 5, 2. So let's come back here then, and we'll put in 1, 2, 5, 2, 0, 0, 0. 187, which I mean, so that's like 50. There's no way I'm getting 50 more actions on every single course. So, and
Yeah,
I'm
I
fine with
mean,
that.
we talked about this, didn't we? About what sort of loadouts you need for top 100, and you know, if you're if you're rocking a track where you have not even got a top shelf driver, that's it. Just stop asking the question there.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. So yeah, I think this one will probably be pretty good just to get the top 1,000. Hopefully, this tool is helping our viewers out. We're going to go ahead and we have the link for this tool in the description. We're going to have a link for Alex's post, which is going to go live this morning. It's a day later than he normally does it. So thanks for waiting to reveal the scores on the video here. And
thanks for coming, Alex. We appreciate you joining us.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, as I say, I'm really grateful for your invitation. It's been really good to be a part of this. And as I say, I really enjoy your content. I love your relationship where you bounce off each other in your videos. And great commitment to trying to help the community and putting these tools out there. Thank you.
Well, you're welcome. Thanks so much for joining, and we hope that the other people enjoy our banter and some of our Mario Kart tips and tricks and stuff. So anyway, good luck everyone with ranked. Today's the last day for ranked, and good luck with the All Cup ranking. You got another 8 days or so with that. But until the next episode, may the frenzies be forever in your favor. Thanks, Alex, for joining.